Howdy folks, my name is ReadyOpco, and welcome back to part number 18 of Let's Play Super Mario 64. In the last part we took on course number 13, and in this part we're going to be moving on, of course, in order to number 14. I bet you can't imagine where the next entrance to this world is going to be, as you can see, or I guess as you cannot see. I guess this one doesn't shimmer as you get closer to it, but course number 14 has one of the most interesting entrances of all of the courses, very similar to Tiny Huge Island and Wet Dry World. It has very interesting effects depending on how you enter it upon the level once you're inside of it. So when the hour hand, or I guess that would be the minute hand, is at the very top of the clock, I'm going to enter the painting, or face of the clock rather. We're going to roll into the cage and tick-tock clock. That's a little tough to say for someone who has occasional issues stuttering. So, tick-tock clock is indeed my favorite level in Super Mario 64. I mean, there were only two of them left, and I hadn't revealed it at this point, so if I didn't reveal it in this video by process of elimination, it would kind of have to be this one, wouldn't it? While Course 15 is really enjoyable in its own right, I feel like it's actually somewhat weakened by having Tick-Tock Clock before it. See, both Tick-Tock Clock and Course number 15 are pretty straightforward platforming challenges. They don't ask a whole lot out of you except to jump well, and yeah, that's basically everything. When we get into actually Course 15, I'll talk a little bit about why I think it's so much weaker, but for the time being, let's go ahead and enjoy 14 while we're here. Star number 2, the Pit and the Pendulums. It's going to lead us a little bit higher in the clock this time. As you can see, everything is moving just a little bit faster than it was on the previous go-around. That is because I entered with the minute hand facing the 9 at this time. So that is the way that the Tick-Tock Clock entrance works, is if it is on the 12, all of the objects will be stationary. That was extremely close. If it's on 12, they'll be stationary, 3 is slow, 6 is a nice medium, and 9, as you can see, is pretty wickedly fast. I probably should have paid a little bit more attention to the minute hand when I was entering the clock face, but I decided to YOLO it instead, because for the most part on these stars, except for number 6, it's not going to 100% matter the state of the clock. There is another star that requires the clock to be moving. You can't enter it on 12 in order to get that one, and I will mention it when we start that one. But for the time being, getting to star number 2 is a pretty easy fare. Tick-Tock Clock almost kind of suffers the same issues as Tall Tall Mountain, though, in that you do end up having to tread the same path multiple times for multiple stars, although I appreciate Tick-Tock Clock a lot more for the fact that each of the stars end up being in very different locations on the climb up the tower, and they offer different platforming challenges to actually get to them. So here's star number 2. Pendulums offer a little bit of challenge. Star number 3, Get a Hand, is the star that I was mentioning before, which you must enter with the clock moving. Actually, it's not 100% necessary to enter with the clock moving. That's not 100% true. There is a way that you can get this star even if the components within the clock are not moving. However, it is a lot trickier to do so, and I of course would like to show you the game-recommended way to do most of the stars, if possible. It's the way that most people are going to come across them naturally, so I feel like it is the better way to go about doing things, in my opinion at least. So, what? Oh my goodness, okay. I'm going to do an embarrassing thing. Get a hand. Okay, yeah, I was forgetting for a moment what star I was actually doing, which is a little bit troubling, considering that I literally was only talking for about a minute after selecting it, but as you can tell by the name of the star, we have to indeed get a hand, and you might have noticed on either of the two previous stars that there are some clock hands moving within the clock at different points. I guess this actually might have been a good idea to enter the clock not with the minute hand pointing at the 3. It is moving a little bit slow for my likes, but as long as you get on the minute hand, the fire breather won't be able to hit you since you're on a slightly raised up platform, as long as you're, relatively in the center of it. I imagine if you're standing on the edge, it still would be able to hit you, and that would be very unpleasant. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the Mario camera, see if this offers me a little better view of the action. And you can see our Power Star is just calmly waiting for us over there. Oh, looks like there is a zappy guy in the way though, so going to have to delicately avoid him lest we get knocked off of this hand and into an instant death pit. That would be truly unfortunate. Just gonna wait to get close enough until we can jump into the enclosure. As long as you stand on the red part, it looks like you're pretty safe from the electric guy. And there you go, a hand from the clock. Oh, man. Hey, check that out, I was able to do it without the help of the hand, even though it was literally right there to save me if I fell. How convenient, and what an embarrassing first death. Star number 4, Stomp on the Thwomp, is going to require us to climb all the way to the top of the clock for the very first time. I hope you guys are excited to see the further workings of the inside of Tock clock and further examine why I appreciate this level as much as I do. See, Tock clock isn't even necessarily the coolest concept. I mean, the inside of a clock is not necessarily that unique or interesting, although, I mean, basically all of the ideas that display in this game were, you know, the first for 3D platformers at the very least. So the inside of a clock, not necessarily the most interesting concept, but I really appreciate what they've done with it. Just the fact that it is a really pure platforming gauntlet, the fact that the bottom, you know, at this point, course 14 and 15 are really actually a little demanding of you. You know, biffing a single jump at this point no longer just demotes you to a lower tier of the level. Most of the time it will result in a loss of one of Mario's lives. So I feel like 14 and 15 are really the point where the courses actually start to get trickier. 15 especially has a lot more rigorous challenges than the ones you're seeing on display here. I can guarantee you that. Tock clock actually lets you take your time for certain things, whereas course 15 is demanding in the sense that it will force you off of certain platforms, and we will be seeing that upcoming. But with some clever wall jumps, we can go ahead and get some height in the clock. It's a lot easier to do with the wall jumps. You can do a full jump over the first treadmill there. I discovered that while I was practicing. It was just a neat little trick. I climbed the clock multiple times just to see that I would be able to do it, because this is, like I was just saying, this is the point where the stars are starting to get tricky. So, you ideally want to stomp on the Thwomp, and you want things to be moving so that you can take these triangle platforms, and eventually you're going to get to a point where you have another hand of the clock. And you know, since I'm up here, I might as well hop on it. Fire guy can't hurt me through the clock. Arm? Hand? Yeah, whatever. It's one of those things. It is a clock piece for certain. And you can ride it on over to where the Thwomp sits, but if you're actually really clever, what you can do, let's see if I can get a better view here, you can jump into this little alcove from the little ribbon here, and if you do a triple jump into a wall jump, you can wall jump off of one of those onto the treadmill here, and be able to grab the star without any of the pieces of the clock moving. So yeah, you don't actually need the clock to be moving to be able to grab the Stomp on the Thwomp star, although it does make it significantly easier to be able to do it. That is for certain. Now, actually hopping on the Thwomp is a little tricky, because a double jump... Ooh, okay, there we go, and we managed to do it. Let's see if I can get a better angle, grab our 4th power star. Star number 5, timed jumps on moving bars, is again going to challenge our platforming ability within Tock clock. Although, for as much as I was hyping up how difficult this stage was in the very last star, how things are really starting to get challenging, I'm actually finding that I'm not having too bad of a time with this. I've only had 1 death, which was the one that you saw included. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I had 2 deaths, the other one I had forgotten about because it was so silly. There are occasions, well, as I was mentioning before I embarrassingly died a 2nd and 3rd and 4th time immediately in a row, just as I was saying that this course really isn't killing me as much as it probably could. That's what I get for opening my fat mouth. The game immediately decides to take revenge on me for, oh, you think that this course is easy, do you? You think you're going to blast through it? Ah, no, not today. And indeed, I fell off the course 2 more times off screen that you're not going to see because I was not talking. Couldn't even make it up to the point in the stage that I was before I died in the very first time, so a little bit embarrassing, but I think that we will be able to manage. How about you guys? I think I'm gonna be just fine. I can move right on through tick-tock clock, get on up to star number 5 here, so what you've got to do is you've got to take a similar path. Those are not the moving bars that we want, indeed. If I'm remembering correctly, it is more like over here. We've got one... Oh, as a matter of fact, make this much easier. Yeah, why don't we do something fancy like that? But you may need to do it the actual recommended way, jump on each one of the 3 bars, but I find it to be a lot easier that way. And if I'm remembering correctly, if you can manage to get all the way up here with the clock stationary, the bars will actually be sticking out, so it may make things a little bit easier if you're having trouble with this star. And of course, finally, star number 6 is going to be stop time for red coins. And true to the name of the level, you are going to want to enter this one with the clock stopped. So that means the minute hand is pointing all the way up at the number 12. That's going to cause every single moving component in the clock to be stopped, and it's going to make our journey to collect the 8 red coins a lot easier than it would be otherwise. And as you might be able to imagine, since we have not done so in the level yet, rip that 1 coin that fell off the edge, we're going to be trying to collect 100 of them within the stage before we go on to the red coins. So rather 84 before we collect all 8 of those. And this is going to be a lot easier with the clock stopped. You can just take your time on all of the obstacles, just try not to speed through things. This can be one of the much trickier 100 coin stars compared to the other ones, I find. Just because dying in this stage can be so easy. You make 1 mistimed jump, and right off the edge you are going. So, see if we can avoid that as much as possible, do a flawless 100 coin run, that would be preferable. And as you can see, pretty much all the red coins in this stage are just right down there. For whatever reason, they decided they would pack all of them in the same area, similar to Lethal Lava Land in this stage. I think they could probably have placed them cleverly throughout the entire platforming challenge, and it would have been really interesting, but I think I'm okay with the way it is now. The only grievance otherwise that I would have, other than them being a little packed close to each other, is the fact that you can only do this star if you stop time. I've tried to do those moving platforms with them actually moving, and as far as I can figure it out, it is basically impossible to actually grab the coins. All of the platforms that are rotating, they don't rotate, they rotate in sync. So they all have the same rotation pattern, so right as you start falling off of one, you start falling off of the other, basically. And trying to platform off of the edges of them, like the rotating platforms in Bob-omb Battlefield, is much, much, much more difficult. So I'm gonna bait this guy a little bit, get him to stop in place before trying to grab these other coins, just because I think that'll be a safer alternative here. And the vast majority of our oh, no thank you. The vast majority of the coins that we're going to be collecting are from this handy blue coin switch right across from the Pit and Pendulum Power Star. It's a lot of P's, that was really fun to say. And you can see that we've got a whole bunch of blue coins here. It's going to bring our total all the way up to 65, so we've only got 19 more that we need to collect before we can move on to the red coins. Should be pretty simple, assuming I don't beef any platforming here. Do a crafty double jump, and this is going to... Oh, please. Oh, okay, my heart almost stopped there. I thought I was definitely going to fall off. Okay, this is going to be a little bit tricky. Since the clock isn't moving, getting up higher than here is going to be just a little tricky. But if you do a crafty wall jump, you'll be able to land on this triangle platform no problem, and continue onward. So if I'm remembering correctly, once we get a little bit higher in the clock, all we've got to do is basically hit 2 exclamation mark boxes, both of which should contain 10 coins each. And then I believe one of them is going to be right here. At least I think this one has 10 coins. This one might have 5. Oh wow, that one only had 3. Okay, look at me misremembering things completely. This looks like another tricky jump, but if you do it properly, you can just do a full jump and grab onto the ledge. You don't have to worry about any tricky platforming. I'm going to walk very slowly past these bars, because while they aren't moving and they can't launch me outward, what they can do is mess up my ability to walk on the narrow pathway. So just try to avoid that. Take things really slowly and carefully. I would hate to mess up the 100 coin star now that I'm actually so far into it. I believe this might be one of the stages which has very close to 100 coins again. I might be misremembering that, but it would make a lot of sense to me considering that it is so tricky to get up to this part of the level. And indeed, that exclamation mark box over there contains a 1-up, so I'm almost certain that in order to collect 100 coins, you need to basically take this route. So, yeah, Tick-Tock clock 100 coins, a little bit challenging, not the easiest of all of them, but should be able to manage it no issue. Now, getting back down the clock in order to collect the red coins is going to be an interesting time. Let's go ahead and switch back to LAC 2 view. And honestly, I'm just going to, as delicately as possible, make my way down the clock, basically do everything in reverse, which is going to be really tricky because the camera is not designed to do this in reverse. It really wants you to go through it the proper way, but we're going to try to make things work so that we can get all the way back to the bottom of the clock, get the red coins without too much issue. And like I said, just take things really slowly. I think that is the primary thing with these platforming challenges. Especially Tick-Tock clock really offers you the time to take your time. You don't need to, make speedy descents or anything like that. And if I'm remembering right, no, avoid you. Nope, I think I'm still too high on the clock. I thought this was the level that would lead me down to the platforms, but is it right here? Okay, apparently my memory of Tick-Tock clock is extremely abysmal. I'm just gonna continue making my way down real slow like. Not take things too fast, because that is how you end up in death. And here we are right at the red coins. I think I can hop right down here. Oh, in fact, that's one of the rotating platforms. So this should make it real easy to grab all 8 of these. Oh, okay, thank you, platform, for being at the bottom here. That was very sketchy. Gotta collect 1 more red coin for the 100 coin star, and the other 3 of those should be very easy to collect indeed. And check that out, 111 power stars, 9 stars away from the grand total. I'm so excited to be able to move on. Oh! Not particularly from this game. I'm just excited to do course 15 and then the finale. I'm excited to record the end of the game, not necessarily for the game to be over itself. Okay, focus and just do the red coins, please, and not flub at the very last point of the level. That would be really silly. I'm really excited for the finale of this game. It's been a long time since I have beat Super Mario 64, so should be a really fun time. Oh, that really appears all the way up here. That's very interesting, but I guess that was a convenient last red coin to collect. And that's gonna be it. Star number 7 from Tick-Tock clock brings our total up to 112, which means we've only got 1 more course, ladies and gentlemen, and then we can finally move on to Bowser in the Sky, the final Bowser course. I'm so terribly excited. I actually have so much anticipation. I think I'm actually just gonna record the rest of this tonight, just because I'm really looking forward to it, and then I can start brainstorming what my next game is going to be. Is this... I can't remember if this is the bonus star, or if the bonus star is on the other end. I'm really misremembering. I think this one is the bonus star over here, and I do want to go over to the right here. So I'm going to leave us in front of the very entrance for course number 15, if I can actually manage to get in there again so terribly. Oh, come on. Don't embarrass yourself at the very end of the video, just manage to make the thing, it won't be that hard. There we go. Leave us right in front of this hole, and I hope you guys are preparing for part number 19 of Let's Play Super Mario 64, in which we can finally take on the last course. My name is Ready Opco, and I'll be hoping to see you there.